Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
Okay, I watched a movie called Mother's Instinct, starring Anne Hathaway and
Oh, yeah.
Jessica Chastain. What's up? Never mind. It's an alright movie. Okay. It's relying a little bit more on like plot twists and turns. Like, oh, we like actually when you first the beginning of the movie where you see this like happy, sunshiny, family relationships between multiple families. Obviously, Anne Hathaway and her as a mom, and with her kid and her husband, and then Jessica Chastain with her kid and her husband, and the way they all interact is like this very wholesome looking thing, which means something's going to go downhill, right? And it's Anne Hathaway's kid dies trying to hang a bird tree, I think. When he did, I was like, oh, this. It's like, why are we mad? Why are we mad at anyone? This kid's a fucking idiot. Like, just fucking. What's he doing, bro? But yeah, all right. The kid falls trying to hang this bird tree and dies, and it basically starts this tumble downhill. Now, on the surface, it looks like Anne Hathaway is just this innocent mother who was vacuuming, right, while the kid was on this balcony. Jessica Chastain sees like, oh no, go back inside. I think the kid's name is Max. Go back inside, Max. Like she's like screaming at the kid like to try to save him, but he's like too stupid, so he falls and dies. And Anne Hathaway was like doing something like she was vacuuming, right? So she didn't know that this kid was about to fall to his death, her kid, right? And yada yada yada. Start creating paranoia about in regards to Jessica Chastain looking at Anne Hathaway, because she's like, oh shit, you like blame me for you blame me for your kid's death, right? And there's even like a little test in the middle of the movie, like, or it looks like a test, right? Because Jessica Chastain had an opportunity to like crawl through these bushes to get to the kid, right, Max, before he falls to his death. But she's like, she kind of halfway goes through. She's like, ah, fuck, I can't make it, and she goes back. And then there's a moment where Jessica Chastain's kid, Theo, is in like a similar scenario, and she fucking just Rambos through that fucking bush like nothing, like runs right through it, crawls right through it. And then Anne Hathaway's like, huh. So you're willing to like work hard like that for your kid, but my kid can go fuck himself, right? Okay. Taking notes. Now, they clear that up through the story. They like all this paranoia. Like Jessica Chastain is she's recognizing what I just laid out right there. In fact, she's the one that comes up with that theory that Anne Hathaway is testing her, or is upset that she didn't work as hard to save her kid that she did for her own. And like, okay. And this is what they're showing in the movie. This is the perspective that we're seeing. That Anne Hathaway is actually like, she's not horrible, right? She's not doing tests. She's not some sort of fucking, because her kid dies, all of a sudden she's a sociopath. But they do a twist, and she actually is that, and she actually is trying to sabotage this family. And in fact, in conclusion of the movie, she actually she kills Jessica Chastain and her husband, and protects their kid Theo, and adopts him as her own, which means she was blaming Jessica Chastain for her own kid's death. Like that's kind of the thing of the movie, right? Mother's instinct. It's it's that idea it's a twisted version of Mother's Instinct, in my opinion, but that is the theme of the characters, of like where they're willing to go for this, I guess, this motherly type bond. And it's like, holy shit. Well, Anne Hathaway is like, at the end of the movie, you realize, like, oh, fuck, she's fucking nuts, bro. She'll do whatever the fuck. She'll grab chloroform and kill her own husband. She'll grab chloroform and kill Jessica Chastain and her husband and light the fucking house on fire and all that shit. And then take the kid for her own and be like, well, you played a role in killing my son, so I'm going to kill you and take your son as my own. I was like, God damn. Which is like, I guess, kind of entertaining. Not really that entertaining for me, personally. Like, it's interesting with all the twists and turns, right? It's not a bot movie, but it's also not the greatest thing ever. I look at it as just average. No, like, deeper storytelling like the last two things I've seen these two women in. These two actually incredible actors. This movie called Memory with Jessica Chastain was fucking awesome. It's not, best thing ever, but it's a pretty good fucking movie. Where there actually is like dramatic twists and turns in that, but I think they hit home a little more and they're a little bit more I don't know, they make you think a little bit more. This movie, Mother's Instinct, looked more like twists for the sake of tricking you, or dun dun dun, oh shit, she was the killer the whole time type of thing. Which is like, okay, cool, but that's not the most entertaining version of a movie that I can see. I like introspection. And I think something like Memory did a better job of introspection and making me think about more circumstantial things. I'll say that without spoiling, I guess. And then also Anne Hathaway was in a movie called Eileen, which I think is better than all three of the movies I mentioned so far. Eileen, Memory, and Mother's Instinct. Eileen is the best one out of all of them. That's clear as day. Like that is a psychoanalysis of a fucking movie. Like, very interesting. And the story isn't trying to trick me into being entertained with like a twist and a turn. It's kind of in your face of where they're going and the psychological depths and analysis of a character. They go right there with it, and I appreciated that in that movie. But either way, I kind of went off track here. Memory and Eileen are better movies than Mother's Instinct. But, for a one-time viewing and one-time viewing only, I would recommend Mother's Instinct. Because you'll get the twist. You'll get the, oh shit, Anne Hathaway was a bad guy the whole time. You'll get those moments. Granted, that'll be it. There's no reason to watch it again, in my opinion. Like, that'll be it. But at least you'll have a decent one-time viewing, as opposed to this AI-written Godzilla movie. But yeah. I recommend Mother's Instinct for a one-time viewing. And as a grade, I will give it a 7.3, 7.4. So like slightly below average. Right? It's okay. And the twists and turns aren't going to appeal to me so hard, but it's still beautifully acted, beautifully shot. Not some in-your-face CGI mess. It's okay. It's refreshing a bit. But still, I try to grade as fair as I can and be as honest as I can. And it doesn't reach the standard of like, oh, wow, this is a good movie. It doesn't reach that standard for me. But you might enjoy it and enjoy the twists and turns. I just don't think you'll be able to watch it a second time. That's just my opinion. All right, there you go. Mother's Instinct. Check it out.